Trey, which one's me? Anyway, Ross, welcome to the show. This segment's sponsored by God Krebs Law Firm, and you, sir, are giving me a backache with all this fan mail I'm getting for you. All these duffel bags with the mail. So tell us, what's going on? Say hi. You got a whole bunch of nuggets for us, don't you?
Yeah, we got some good stocking stuffer, legal stocking stuffer today. You can find me out here in Cameron. That's my main office area. It's been crazy this December. It's already here. We're about to start January of 2018. It's crazy, and I wish you'd have done a segment like this before. I think that the whole purpose of being a lawyer, at least why I became a lawyer, is to learn tricks. It's nuggets. The whole point is to learn how to work the system. And I don't know. There's a lot of people that think, well, I started off in Cameron, I must not have gotten off a good job. It's not correct. I've actually kicked myself the first 2 years of starting my own business. Why didn't I take the firm job that I got offered? Why didn't I take the job with the big company that's offering 6 figures? And now it's paying off. I love every minute. And you start your own company, and it's just like, as far as running a business is concerned, you don't have any idea what you're doing.
You know what the best part about being your own boss is?
Yeah, you can sleep late.
Not having one.
Yeah, that's right. That's right too. No, but I think really you can't really sleep late. Probably work more hours than anybody else. But over time you start learning all these tricks, and then you really understand, like, why am I just helping other people? Why aren't using what I know to help myself? And you really get into it, and you have your own business, and it's just like a game. How much money can I make, and how much can I save, and how much can I get over on the government? I mean, it all
black
plays
cars
into it.
circling the building.
Okay. It all. I mean, it is what it is. And the IRS, lets you do it. They tell you, they have treatises on their own website to tell you how to make these deductions. People just don't read them. They don't press their CPA to do it. And so I thought, it's the end of the year. We're going to talk about some maybe deductions that you can take, maybe some retirement plans, maybe some things. But there's just so much. That's what I was saying. It's like when you asked me to pick an opinion piece and didn't give me any direction. You can't just tell an ADHD kid, pick one thing out of 100 and try to make that work. But some of these things are practical stuff I see every day. It's the end of the year. You got people pressing you for debts. Your money's tight. You're trying to get into next year. I see a lot of people all the time come in and have medical debts, and it's a very simple letter you can write. Okay, and if maybe they're trying to report you on your credit, maybe you're scared that they're about to. Okay, well, next time they call, or next time you get a letter from them, what you need to do is within 10 days of getting the letter, or right when you're on the phone with them, okay, and within 10 days after getting off the phone, 3-sentence letter. Now, there's other stuff you can say, but you won't remember all of that, and you have to pay me to come have me write the letter. But you can do this on your own, and it's better than nothing, and it is probably going to get them off your back, okay? And it is, you say, this debt is in dispute. That's sentence 1, okay? Then you say, taking any further action in regard to this debt or concerning this debt, right, will be a violation of the consumer protection or consumer, protection statutes or consumer protection acts, something with consumer protection in it, right, and debt collection practices act, and that's the second sentence, okay? And then, right, you say, here's my contact information, call me if there are any problems, okay? And you send that in. Now, like I said, there's other specific language that you could say in there, okay? And you probably should say it in there. But that's probably gonna get you over the hump if you ever need to take some kind of action, okay? And it's probably gonna get them to stop. I'm telling you, I've used it on myself. I've had a medical debt. They come after me, right? I sent them this letter. They didn't do anything. You can talk to Craig Brown over there at Capolino, Dodd & Krebs. He's an attorney. He's had to use this same letter, not on himself. He's used this letter for other people. They'll come after you for the medical debt. You send in this letter. By law, they cannot report you right on that debt. There's other kinds of debts that it works for. It's not as effective, but when you send the notice, I promise you, they're going to think twice because now they're subject to what's called the DTPA. And that's a good segue.
DTPA?
Which is Deceptive Trade Practices Act. Okay? And that leads me into the next segue. That is the Consumer Protection Act that I was just mentioning in the letter. Okay, and here's what happened to me. I'll tell you a story. My company opened up a gym, and so we were buying some gym equipment for the company, and so it shows up on there. And by the way, you're a consumer in Texas, and you're under the DTPA. Even though you're not in other places, you're a consumer here in Texas for business purposes. And so it says all of this, and the guy worked it out. So I'm not going to call him out. We worked it out, but I'm telling you, this is very valuable. This is a very valuable tool, right? It's going to work for you probably at least 30% of the time. Hey, and that's a good percentage.
That's a good percentage.
Just
sure.
throwing it out there on your own for free with no cost to you, right? It's probably going to work about 30% of the time. Right, comes up, says free shipping in big red letters on their website, and then it says like right underneath it, see details. And so I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. So I click see details. Boom! The screen, it goes into a new window, new screen, and it's all red. The screen is all red, and in big white letters it says like all purchases over $100, right, free shipping. Okay, so I said, oh, great, and it says purchase. So I click the purchase button, takes me through, and we've all done that, right, online. Well, then the guy calls me after I make the purchase, and he's like, yeah, so, he's not from Texas, at least. He may not even be from the United States, but he calls me, he's talking about, shipping's going to be, like $500. I was like, well, you're getting a letter tomorrow. And I told him about this Consumer Protection Act, the DTPA. There's no way. That's false advertising. False advertising is what you need to say. False advertising is a violation of the Texas Deceptive Trade Practices Act. Okay, and it was by way of internet, right? And it was by way of emails. He called you, right? There's jurisdiction in Texas, right? And you're gonna report him to the Consumer Protection Bureau. You're gonna report him to the state Attorney General Division for Consumer Protection Services or something like that, right? And you're going to file a letter, right? And you're going to ask for the whole contract price plus the statutory penalty plus all these fees. But if you say false advertising and consumer protection and it's a violation and no, you're not paying that, okay, and you throw a fit, right, to some degree. I'm not telling you to act
and this is for legitimate
yeah,
problems.
legitimate problems, okay, right? Most business owners, if they've been in business long enough, they know what the DTPA is. Okay, and it's because it is extremely harmful to you as a business owner. I mean, it is hard, right, to defend against a DTPA case. Okay, I got free shipping.
Wow.
Long story short, I got free shipping. And I'm telling you, I've been out before, my girlfriend, and we've been in restaurants, and they'll have something on there that says, this, like Peloton bike, for instance. We were looking at a Peloton bike, and it said, you get a free lifetime subscription. Well, then they get us into the store, and that's what's called a bait and switch. Mm-hmm. Okay, they get you in the store. No, it's actually not that. It's a 1-year commitment. But here, don't worry about that because we have something so much better. Okay, woo, they're gonna get a letter. Okay, end of the year deductions. We're trying to make end of the year deductions here. So. If you're kind of, you've got established, you don't need any more foundation, and you're just going to have this money that's just going to go to the IRS, okay, and you own your own business, you need to think about a SEP IRA. I think you can deduct, I think you can place up to like $56,000 into a SEP IRA, okay, and it's tax free. I mean, all of that. I mean, that's a deduction to you. That's a deduction. Okay, and you may not want to spend that much. The only kicker is you're going to have to, whatever amount of percentage that is of your net income, your income is going to have to be, put in for your employees as well. So that's why a lot of people don't like doing that. But also consider maybe a healthcare reimbursement plan, right? Instead of paying a bunch of money into insurance or whatever, you can pay your money into especially if you're taking a routine expense every month for healthcare purposes. Maybe you're paying something for copay or something like that when you go in. If you're going to pay that, get a healthcare reimbursement plan. Pay money into there. That's a deduction.
Now let me ask you something. You offer all this to anybody who calls you and say, "Hey, help me to do this," right?
I can set a lot of this up. Some of these things you're going to need me plus the CPA. some of these things, you're gonna need me plus a financial advisor.
Let's go real simple. That very first one, it seems so simple. Let's say somebody didn't want to do it and they wanted it written on your letterhead. Is it inappropriate for me to ask you what something like that would be charged?
I mean,
if you can, I understand. I'm just saying, is that somebody comes in and say, "Hey, work with me"? It'd be a heck of a lot cheaper writing this letter from an attorney than you having to deal with all this other crap that can come from it, right?
I would say a one-time deal. You probably could get me to help you. It'd be worth it if you knew there was a substantial debt.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, it was a substantial debt. Get me to write one letter, and yeah, I got tired of doing a lot of this because people wanted me to do it for free, and that's why I just got. And I just got like, man, look, you need to go write the letter, and it's just 3 sentences, and so this is what I tell people to do. Mm-hmm. Okay, but if it's a substantial debt, yeah, come holler at me because chances are you'll get another collection letter in a year or two. Right, and then you just send the same letter, and you'll just keep putting it off, and eventually the statute of limitations is going to run, and they can't collect on that debt. Okay.
Now that's not an excuse for someone to be
no.
I mean, this is something that's legitimately there's a challenge going on, and you got to take care of it. We're not looking to scam out. No way.
Hey man, the whole basis for starting the state of Texas was to screw your creditors. Okay, that's why we have the homestead law. Hey, you look at Sam Houston, you look at David Cross, you look at Travis Barrett Travis. I mean, hey, a lot of these guys, even from the Alamo standpoint, a lot of guys at the Alamo, right? They're honorable people, great people, but a lot of those guys were in Texas for the sole purpose of evading creditors. Okay, that is the bottom line truth. And
I'm surprised the phone isn't ringing.
Yeah, no, it's true, and we got some other things, healthcare savings account, right? Your CPA is going to have to help you with that one too. But you can, instead of having insurance, you can be sort of self-insured. You can pay in that savings account. I think there were 4 essential things that everybody needs to have for a good estate plan. You're going to need an insurance agent, a good insurance agent. Okay, one you can trust. I'm not going to tell you exactly what products to buy, right? Because that's why you need a good insurance agent to tell you exactly what's good for your needs. Okay, you need a trust plan, right? Yes, sometimes a will works, and a lot of we're going to get into that, but I think it's a trust plan. For some people, a will plan can work. Defer your Social Security. Okay, defer your Social Security. This is going to earn you the most money, and that's why you have a good trust plan. That's why you have other things set up. If you're a business owner, right, this is where the 4th thing comes in. You need to have an entity structure, right? A lot of times you can play that trust and the insurance, right, and the Social Security into your entity structure, right, along with those health care reimbursement plans, along with the Social Security benefits with the health savings accounts, right? You can play those things in, right, and that's going to help save you so much money, and it's going to keep your money, right, being saved and working for you instead of going to somebody else. Again, and it's all, a lot of this stuff is all deductible, okay, and so that's the name of the game, okay, and safekeeping. So we talked about your estate plan and stuff, your legal documents. Make sure you have. I talked about a binder on here. I'm not just a form lawyer. You want to go on Rocket Lawyer. You want to go on stuff like that. You do your own forms. We're going to talk about why that's dangerous. But if you're going to do that, or you get legal documents from me, or you go on and print out your own, you need to have a binder. You need to keep these things in a specific place. A lot of people like a safe deposit box. What's the problem? If you die, how you going to get to them? Because you're dead.
You're dead. That's right.
And so if you can't get to them, how's your people gonna get to them?
Yeah, I don't like the concept of a safety deposit box anyway. If the bank closes down, all my stuff's in there. I can't get to it.
Well,
Shuts down, you're stuck.
Plus, it's in the hands of a third party, right? That makes it that there's arguable consent to search under the 4th Amendment, and so if you got anything incriminating in there, you better not. Okay, so let's talk about Rocket Lawyer. A lot of people come in. Yeah, oh man, it's $150, man. I had a good friend of mine. I wanted me to set up an entity form. I was like, dude, your stuff is so complicated. It's construction law. I can do all this stuff for you, and we're best friends. I'm gonna do all this stuff, and it's gonna be $1,500. And he goes, dude, $1,500? And I was like, what? On $1,500? It like that for anybody else is $5,000 to $10,000. That's not expensive. I'm gonna do all this stuff. He's like, I'm gonna go on Rocket Lawyer. Went on Rocket Lawyer. They said it was gonna be about $350. Right. By the time it was done, and what he wanted to do, he ended up spending $2,000. Okay, I've had people. I wanted to charge a will to somebody for $500. They went on Rocket Lawyer, did it themselves. Came in after the guy died. Okay, came into my office, had it signed, and both witnesses were interested witnesses. Throw the will out.
Sometimes it's just best to go the old-fashioned way. If you want to learn how to shoot a gun, watching a video is cool to a certain point, but you need a guy who knows what he's doing to teach you. When you're going to do legal work, Rocket Lawyer, great. All these places where you pull out the forms, but you need to go to an attorney like Ross here and Rick.
Well, I mean, I'm not telling you how to do this. You want to do it? That's fine, right? I guess you got a right to do your own, okay? But we had another case, like with a lady, you can do a ladybird deed, right? You can do a ladybird deed for Medicare, medical purposes, right? And you can do this because you're still the owner, right, of the property, but technically, right, you're going to give it to whoever's next in line. You can take a life estate without having to actually take a life estate. But I've had people go on Rocket Lawyer, right, trying to do a ladybird deed, and instead of doing the ladybird deed, they do the life estate. It's not the same thing. A life estate deed is not a ladybird deed. Okay, and so to save on these Medicare, to make sure that you're not in trouble when you go in the nursing home, and these medical debts can come back on you, you've got to do the ladybird deed. The life estate doesn't work. It was the first malpractice case I've ever committed. I won't talk about that. It's the only time I've ever committed malpractice. I got out of it. Okay, but it's dangerous. So don't do that kind of thing if you don't know what you're doing, right? Because I'm telling you, I committed malpractice. I had been licensed 3 months, right? And I had to beg people and pull favors, right, to get out of it. And thank goodness I did, because you're talking about somebody that was going to lose their homestead if what I did messed up, and I was going to have to pay a lot of money.
What I notice about you, Ross, you just tell it the way it is. I mean, you don't hold back anything. I mean, experiences that happen to you that some people may say, I don't want to broadcast that. You just broadcast it for the benefit of others. I think that's awesome.
Well, and look, you can do your own will. You can do your own will. Make sure it's wholly in your handwriting. You don't even have to have witnesses and stuff, right? If it's wholly in your handwriting, the problem is, you've got to have somebody prove up your handwriting, okay? And yeah, there's an issue there. And then if you try to do it like spur of the moment, they're going to have heirs that are going to say, oh, well, he was incapacitated, or he was under duress.
Doing it yourself?
Yes, you can. It's a good idea. It's just further evidence that it was you. But the video itself is not enough. You're going to have to actually have that written piece of paper.
Well, that's what I mean. As you're writing that piece of paper, you're getting your video and yourself writing it so that they can confirm that it's you with the handwriting. But
and another thing, I do a kids protection plan. I don't know why more parents don't take advantage of this.
This is interesting.
But if you're a parent, like, you need to have a guardian nomination. Like if you and your spouse go to dinner together and you die in a car wreck, what's gonna happen to the kids? You think this doesn't happen? Like, this happens. Like, and this also happens. Like, I'm sorry for the bad parents out there. If something happens with CPS, like, if you got a guardian designation, the kids are gonna go to that person instead of them taken to a foster home. Like, and CPS is going to be bound to go to the next person that's listed as the guardian.
That's very important.
Why? I mean, why do you not do this? Nominate a temporary guardian in my kids protection plan, which is sometimes free. Okay, I probably shouldn't say that, but it is. Like, these are not expensive things to do. It's not complicated, right? Like, name a guardian, name a temporary guardian. You can exclude guardians if you want. You can do instructions to the babysitter, instructions to the guardian, instructions for your temporary guardian. I talked about ID cards with the gun trust. Yes. I do ID cards for your kids protection plan too. Make ID cards to show you people who are going to be in charge of your estates and your businesses. Have an ID card. List who they are and what their position's going to be, so that they'll remember how to explain who they are and what they are. And on the back of that card, maybe list where these documents are. Good idea. And if it's a private ID card that only that one person that you trust to be trustee, or that one person you're going to trust to be executor, has in their wallet, and can keep it safe, nobody else is going to know about it. But it's going to allow them to say, okay, what do I do? Maybe there's instructions on. You can put whatever you want to on the ID card. The point is, Ray, I think these kinds of tips are good ways to make sure that everything's in place, and you don't have to worry about anything. Man, it's so good. Like, man, yes, sometimes I spend more money than I want, but when I do that, a lot of times, like when I pay for these marketing plans, or when I pay for a foreign program. It's so I don't have to worry about it, man.
That's right, peace of mind.
Like, and it just and it allows me to make so much more money because I get to focus on other things, and I'm not so focused that I don't have any time for anybody else.
Right.
And so a lot of these things, bank accounts, pay on death beneficiary. If you're gonna try to do it without a will, it can be done, but it needs to be pay on death, or you need to have a joint account with right of survivorship, not just a joint account. It needs to say joint account with right of survivorship. I've had problems where they said, well, it's a joint account, and I've gone to the bank and I said, it's a joint account. Well, there's another lawyer involved. Maybe some banks will just let you take the money. If there's another lawyer involved and you're already in a fight, I've had problems because it doesn't say right of survivorship. And that means, right, that it's not all that joint signatories money in that bank account. Okay, it is, okay, not all their money. Okay, and so pay on death beneficiary, okay, or joint account with right of survivorship.
You would think death is simple, but it ain't.
It's not, right? And don't think, oh, my family's gonna. Well, I got a will. It's all good. They still got to file the will, or they got to do a small estate affidavit, or they've got to file it as a muniment of title. There's something they've got to do unless you have a trust set up, right? A lot of people think, oh, trusts are too expensive. Well, there's a lot of reasons I don't have time to go into today why it's not. Okay, there's other stuff too, right? But yes, even if you have a will, there's other things you can do on top of that. Just make sure, like powers of attorney, you can't have a power of attorney. But if you want to keep the bank accounts free and clean, maybe have a pay on death beneficiary. The will's not enough. Okay, because the will, they still got to go and file it just to get the letters. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily. There's some things, but they only got 10 days. And most people don't do it in 10 days. And so, yeah, I mean.
It's crazy, man. As much as I try to be prepared, when you talk, I'm like, oh my gosh.
And so then consent. If you got a marijuana blunt sitting right there on your console or in your cup, and you hadn't been smoking it, and there's no smoke, you just got it in the car, in the console, do not consent to the search. If he finds it, he's not going to do you any favors. Do not consent. Gosh. I understand some people try to talk their way out of stuff. That's fine. I've talked my way out of some bad stuff too. Okay, I'm not one of those lawyers going to tell you every time don't say anything. That's probably the smartest way to go because most people are stupid and they say stupid stuff. But right? If you think you want to talk, it's fine. But do not consent and do not tell them that the marijuana's in the console. That's stupid. What did I say? Record. I got record on here for something.
I tell you what, we need a
safekeeping. Make sure you put everything in the folder or on a flash drive. Woo! Woo!
Ross, you're on fire, dude. Tell everybody how they can get a hold of you.
Benton Watson here in Cameron, primary office location 105 East Main Street. Right across the street from the courthouse, big milk cow on the side. You can email me at Benton, BENTON at Watson.legal. That's Benton at Watson.legal, or call me 254-605-4140, 254-605-4140. I love being here. Thank you, Rick Dodge. Merry Christmas to Capitolino Dodge and Krebs. Christmas party was awesome. I lost my hat.
See you on the other side.
See ya.